Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Casey Stoner, the 2007 and 2011 world champion, wandered the Misano paddock after the Hall of Fame event and did not shy from blunt assessment. Speaking about recent years of MotoGP development, he argued that the Japanese factories, particularly Honda and Yamaha, lagged behind on aero evolution, a shortfall he says has cost them ground to the European manufacturers. Aprilia left Misano with renewed belief, thanks to Marco Bezzecchi's spectacular form. Team boss Massimo Rivola praised the Italian's rise, comparing his competitiveness directly to Marc Márquez. While Ducati remains the reference, Rivola stressed that Aprilia's growth, and Bezzecchi's fearless adaptation, proves the Noale brand is now a genuine force. His message was clear: Bezzecchi must aim higher, and that means beating the number 93. Marc Márquez left Misano with 6th place in the post-race test and a calm mindset, despite being just one step away from his 9th world crown. The Ducati rider admitted that many already expect him to clinch the title at MotoGP, but he stressed that nothing is guaranteed. With Marquez only 3 points behind in the standings, Marc reminded everyone that Japan will demand maximum focus. The Misano test marked a crucial turning point for Yamaha. For the first time, the Japanese manufacturer rolled out its long-awaited V4 engine, a bold step away from its traditional inline-4. Among those tasked with shaping this new era was Jack Miller, who brought optimism, realism, and empathy for teammate Fabio Quartararo's impatience. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Stoner's presence at Misano was low-key, but purposeful. Between catching up with riders and technicians, he studied the evolution of MotoGP technology. The last few years have been tough for the Japanese factories. Then the rules seemed to fall apart and disappear. But the following year everyone still had wings. I think they just fell behind at that point. In his view, Honda and Yamaha misread the shift, and the cost was competitiveness. For Stoner, aerodynamics is where Yamaha and Honda stumbled hardest. While Ducati and Aprilia pushed the envelope, the Japanese were left scrambling. They weren't developing it, they weren't continuing in that direction, and now they're trying to catch up. I think Honda and Yamaha had developed the bike so it wouldn't have aerodynamics or anything like that. What sounded like a philosophy of simplicity has turned into a handicap in today's aero-driven MotoGP. Stoner pointed to financial caution as another brake on Japanese progress. Aero is expensive, and hesitation meant falling further behind. It was a big investment. I think they were cautious about how much they actually wanted to invest in their time and budget. A reminder that MotoGP is not just a technical arms race, but also an economic one. Stoner's words hinted at diverging fortunes between the two Japanese brands. Yamaha is still suffering, but Honda has certainly made some progress in recent races and seems to be higher up the grid. Progress may be slow, but Honda at least appears to be climbing, while Yamaha struggles to find direction. Though officially retired, Stoner's eyes and voice still carry weight. He makes no decisions, but offers the occasional nudge. I have no responsibilities anywhere in this paddock, so I'd basically walk up and down pit lane, observe things on track, and when I see things I can give some advice here and there. I appreciate everything Honda has done and given me, so I've been there visiting them and letting them know what I've seen. A legend without a contract, but with a voice teams still value. From Misano's pit lane, Casey Stoner offered a blunt diagnosis. Honda and Yamaha fell behind by underestimating aerodynamics and hesitating to invest. Now they're chasing Ducati and Aprilia, playing catch-up in a sport where tenths decide destiny. Stoner may not be racing, but his words remind everyone how quickly MotoGP punishes hesitation. Rivola spoke proudly of Aprilia's progress, highlighting Bezzecchi's seamless transition and instant competitiveness. For a rider in his first Aprilia season, Rivola argued, the speed and consistency are exceptional. Aprilia is very competitive, Marco is super competitive. He has done something special, reading the race like a king, just as Marquez does. To earn comparisons with Marquez this early is telling. Rivola clearly sees Bezzecchi as more than a podium threat. He sees him as a future title challenger. Rivola drew direct parallels between Bezzecchi and Marquez at Misano, describing how both were riding right on the edge. The Italian impressed by keeping up with Marquez's rhythm and pushing him into small errors. We are very proud. Normally riders need time to get everything from the bike, but Marco is already at the limit. Both Marc and Marco were playing on the very edge, 2/10 apart. Marc ran wide sometimes. That shows how hard they were pushing. The duel was a glimpse of a new rivalry, where Bezzecchi's calmness and resilience allowed him to stand toe-to-toe with MotoGP's benchmark. Rivola also defended Martin, who is still finding his rhythm with Aprilia. He emphasized the importance of patience and testing to unlock his potential. Jorge shouldn't be judged too quickly. He has the talent, but he needs mileage and risk-taking and testing to understand the bike better. Support Bezzecchi's title tilt now, while allowing Martin the time to grow into the project. Rivola made it clear that Bezzecchi's next step is to aim beyond podiums and fight Marquez directly. With Bezzecchi closing on third in the standings, Rivola insisted that defeating Marc must be the long-term objective. Marco will be third in the World Championship, definitely. But the goal must be to beat the 93. Marc is always special. He understands where he is strong and weak. But Marco is very strong. He doesn't fade until the flag. The Italian boss has set the bar high. Bezzecchi is no longer being measured against Ducati riders, but against the best in MotoGP history. Despite Aprilia's momentum, Rivola admitted Ducati still holds key advantages in simplicity, data, and depth. Ducati's bike is simpler to extract performance from. They have more data, more bikes. But I can't wait to beat Marc so we can say we've truly arrived. Aprilia knows the mountain is steep, but with Bezzecchi leading the charge, Rivola believes they are closing in on Ducati's dominance. Massimo Rivola's message is unambiguous. Aprilia has the tools, and Bezzecchi has the talent, to challenge the very best. The Italian's rapid adaptation has already brought him into direct duels with Marquez, and Rivola insists that the next milestone must be beating him outright. Ducati may still have the data advantage, but Aprilia's growth is undeniable, and Misano may be remembered as the weekend when Bezzecchi proved he belongs in the fight with MotoGP's king. While the paddock whispers that Motegi will seal his destiny, Marquez insisted the challenge remains real. He pointed to his brother's form as proof. I feel like people are taking it for granted that I'll be champion in Japan. But to do that I have to score 3 more points than Alex, which isn't easy. He's consistent, he's coming from 2 good races, and at Misano we both scored 25 points. Marquez projects calm but refuses to underestimate Alex, turning what many see as a formality into a family showdown. At Misano, Marquez tested new swing arms but made it clear, development will wait until the crown is secure. Once we achieve the title, then we'll be more flexible with parts and setups. For now, the GP25 remains stable. Ducati and Marquez will not risk disrupting the balance until the championship is in hand. Marquez admitted that pressure sharpens his edge. He even laughed about a rare test crash, blaming the lack of competitive tension. I like to feel pressure, the kind we had on Sunday. Without that, in testing, I relaxed too much and crashed at turn 2. Far from being a burden, pressure is Marquez's ally, a reminder that he thrives when the stakes are highest. Marquez observed the difference between his side of the Ducati pit and Francesco Bagnaia's, where intensity reigns. Our garage is calm, while theirs looks busier. Maybe they're still searching for something. Everything adds up, but in the end, the rider and technician must filter the information. A subtle insight into Ducati, Marquez's serenity contrasts with Bagnaia's restless search, hinting at why the Spaniard has looked more composed in the title run-in. Marc also showed empathy toward Alex and the Gresini team, recalling the limited technical support they received in 2023. "Last year they gave me very little, the same as the other GP23s." His words reflect respect, both as a rival and as family, recognizing Alex's rise as a legitimate challenge. Looking ahead, Marquez circled Motegi as a decisive stage but refused to predict an easy outcome. "I like Motegi, it's always been good to me, but it's been good to him too. I'll rest for a few days, then return with that pressure again to perform better." With 37 points on offer in Japan, Marquez could seal his 9th title, capping one of MotoGP's greatest comebacks. Marc Márquez walks into Motegi on the brink of history, but determined not to take anything for granted. His mix of calm, caution, and hunger shows a champion who thrives under pressure. With his brother Alex still in striking distance, Japan promises a battle charged with family pride, and the chance for Marquez to etch his name even deeper into MotoGP legend. Miller admitted the workload was heavy as Yamaha's engineers dove deep into the fundamentals of their new prototype. "It's been a very busy morning. It's a new project, a new bike, and you have to understand its strengths and weaknesses, the balance, the weight distribution. It went well, and there have definitely been improvements." From the first laps, Miller highlighted the importance of patience. This was not a finished product, but the beginning of a demanding process. While upbeat, Miller didn't shy away from acknowledging Fabio Quartararo's concerns. "I'm not negative, they've done everything possible. But I understand Fabio's frustration. He wants a competitive bike, but certain things take time. Unfortunately, in MotoGP there's no time." A realistic admission, Quartararo craves instant results, but Miller sees the V4 as a long-term investment. Miller described the engine's new character with a touch of humor, but also technical clarity. Miller, quote, "It has 2 wheels, laughs. It has a good character, and I feel the inertia, which is positive. We have to work a lot on electronics after so many years with the inline 4. Every run we improved, the bike became more manageable." A reminder that transitions are never instant. A single day was not enough to unlock the engine's full potential. Despite the radical shift, Miller insisted the bike still felt unmistakably Yamaha. "The good thing about this V4 is that, even though we've changed the entire bike, it still has Yamaha DNA. For a prototype, lapping within 2 seconds of Aprilia and Ducati isn't bad at all. Identity matters. Yamaha's smooth handling legacy remains intact, even as the V4 project grows." Dovizioso praised the bike's braking, but Miller laughed off his own lack of that sensation. "It's nice to feel the support from the rear, but for me it's about using the rear wheel to stop the bike. With the M1 we lacked inertia, now it's different. The bike brakes well in terms of engine braking." Yamaha's long-standing weaknesses in traction may finally find answers in the new platform. For Miller, embracing risk is part of progress. "In racing there's always a risk, but sitting still for 2 years would have been a risk too. We can find horsepower, that's not the problem. We have the best electronics engineers, and the Yamaha chassis is a guarantee." Confidence blended with caution, Miller trusts Yamaha's engineers but knows time is the enemy. Jack Miller's first taste of Yamaha's V4 left him pragmatic yet hopeful. He sees potential, he feels the DNA, and he understands Quartararo's impatience. For Yamaha, Misano was less about instant speed and more about laying a foundation. The message is clear, progress will come, but patience will be tested. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!